Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, a retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to be talking about another Cinderella adaptation. This is called The Glass Slipper. So this came out in 1955. So this, I believe, is after the original Disney film. Obviously, Disney does not own Cinderella because it's a very, very old tale. So, and I'm trying to see whether this is based off the German or the French tale. It's hard to tell because they cut out a bunch of stuff. And I'm not sure how I feel about this one. I'm guessing it's based off the French tale because the actress is French. And you can tell that English is not her first language. It is very, very obvious. She is a well-known actress. Cinderella is played by, get down here, Leslie Caron. So she's a decently well-known actress. I'd never heard of her, but apparently her career's lasted until recently. So she's been around for a while. But I don't know how I feel about this one. This one is interesting. One, her face is dirty for a good portion of it, which that turns me off. And she doesn't like herself, and she's constantly insulting herself. And I don't like that. I don't like that in this. And it's not just that she's treated badly, it's just she's filthy throughout a lot of it. And that turns me off. And she complains a lot. But it is the regular kind of Cinderella story where I don't think the father is mentioned at all in this one. Which I guess is interesting because in the original French tale, the father isn't dead. He's just kind of a doormat. So, but and the fairy godmother is kind of a fairy, but she's also considered a crazy old lady. And the stepsisters are obsessed with their older cousin who lives on the hill. Obviously better than them. They don't want the prince to know where they live, and they have to get the greatest fashions. And I believe Cinderella has to make their clothing. I cannot remember if that is true in this one. But Cinderella makes friends. Her real name is Ella. So Cinderella, they just kind of call her Cinders. Because again, she's filthy in most of this. And she meets kind of the crazy old fairy godmother, and who tries to cheer her up. And eventually, yes, she goes to the ball. Yes, they fall in love. But she decides to run away rather than meeting up with the prince. And she runs away, and she'd already met him. They've already kind of had some sort of a relationship. She met him by the brook, where she meets the fairy godmother as well. And then eventually she runs away. He comes and finds her, and she already has the other shoe, and he already knows what the heck's going on. He knows who he's looking for. It's not some sort of surprise. He doesn't in fact remember her face, which again is kind of weird in the other ones. It's like, seriously, you don't remember the face of the person you were dancing with, but nonetheless. But again, he puts a shoe on her foot. Her sisters and her stepmother and stepsisters have to bow to her, and they ride off on a horse. It's a kind of a typical fairy godmother story. There's not a lot of magic as much in this one. But again, the dirty face turned me off. It just turned me off. So it's a very good film altogether. The accent also turned me off. I didn't like it. Now, maybe that's just me. And I'm used to not hearing a foreign accent in a Cinderella story, even though, of course, it's a German or French tale, depending on which you go for, not to mention Cinderella's stories are everywhere. As is evidenced by the fact that I'm doing this again and not covering the originals. I did that already a couple years ago. But again, I don't know. Her voice just kind of turned me off. And the dirty face turned me off. Again, it's from 1955. It is in color. It is very well done. For a 1955 film, of course, you can tell that it's done on a soundstage. They don't really do, rarely are they going anywhere for their films. Everything's done on a soundstage. So there's very limited scenes. We'll say that. There's limited locations. But it's a good film. Again, if you're looking at different Cinderella stories, you're looking at older film, because this came out in 1955. It's a great film to watch. I would recommend it. It is very good. There are certain things that bugged me about it. So it is a very good adaptation. I kind of like the musical that I covered this month a little bit more, just because I thought that one was funny and very cute. This one's a little bit more on the serious side. But again, I have my opinions about it. No, there's not. This is a perfectly good family film. Again, it came out in 1955. So there's nothing outward going on here except for the typical Cinderella stepsisters being mean and girls falling in love. So that is really it. I think this is about an hour and a half long here. It's an hour and a half. 1 hour and 33 minutes. Is so not too long, but still a decent film. But again, the accent and the fact that her face is dirty through a lot of it, just it kind of turned me off. Not to mention, she cut her hair. It's really short, and the excuse is she was mad at herself. So she's a very depressed Cinderella. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. She's a very unhappy Cinderella. It's very different from what you've seen in the past. She's a very unhappy Cinderella. So that is it for this review. If you like what you see, be sure to like and subscribe. I am going to be covering Cinderella for the rest of the month, and then we're moving on to Aladdin. I have covered the original, a few other films a couple years ago, so you can check out that as well. So I do a deep dive into the German and the French tales, which is where most of these films come from, is what they're taking, besides each other, of course, in the Disney version. So, which was, I believe, they claim it's taking off the French. So, again, that is it. I will be covering Aladdin next month, and I will be going more deep dive into the original Aladdin and the magical lamp story and where that came from. So, like and subscribe, and leave a positive comment if you have one. I will see you next time. Thank you.